I've watched Once and Always about 3.5 times now. I say a half because one of the times I kind of just had it playing in the background while I was doing some other stuff. But yeah, 3 times, 3 full times, and I cried every time. Like I usually don't cry during like TV shows or movies or whatever, but that made me cry. The last time I cried, I think, was back in the day when the Pokemon Johto series ended, like the finale when like Ash, Brock, and Misty went their separate ways. Separate ways. That was sad. But yeah, that's I can't remember another time that I've really cried at something like this. But Power Rangers did it, and wow, just wow. I'm not gonna break down every single part of Once and Always for you all. I'm just gonna kind of go. I'm not gonna even go in order. I'm just gonna kind of say what I feel. I have some notes here, so if I look this way, you'll know why. Um, but it was oh man, wow. If you don't know, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Once and Always is the 30th anniversary special. We've never gotten a special like this before. Anytime we've had like a special anniversary episode, it would always just be that. It would just be an episode in whatever the currently airing Power Rangers season was. So, like for example, Forever Red in Power Rangers Wild Force, or Once a Ranger in Power Rangers Operation Overdrive. Which, by the way, I still think Once a Ranger still gets too much flack. Just my personal opinion. I love Once a Ranger, but Once and Always was on a different level. It was because like it felt almost like your kind of typical Mighty Morphin episode in a way. You had you had the big bad, you had like kind of the monster of the day, the problem of the day. You had several Rangers captured by the bad guys, and the other Rangers just have to go save the day. And at the same time, there is like a coming of age story for the new character, and there's even like a lesson to be learned in the episode too. But at the same time, there's definitely some mature and darker elements in this, but not too dark. That's what I like about this. It's not too dark. It's not like a really gritty reboot or anything. It's not a reboot at all. But yeah, it was just really nice to see those kinds of mature tones that weren't too overbearing. Because it's still, this special is still very much Mighty Morphin. There's still those really cheesy jokes and one-liners and stuff that I love. Oh my gosh, they were so good this episode or this special. In this special, they were just so good, and I'll talk about them in a little bit. But yeah, I just really like that there was the mature aspect in it, but it wasn't overtaking the light-hearted tone of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. This special revolves around the death of Trini, of the Yellow Ranger, and of course, if I think we should all know by now, if you're a Power Rangers fan, you would know by now that the actress Tui Trang unfortunately died in a car accident. And this was a tribute to her. Basically, to me, this felt like a tribute that they never really got a chance to do. And I thought this was a good way to do it. This was a perfect way to do it, honestly. And I've seen a lot of, I guess, discourse about this topic. I've seen, people talk about it kind of being weird that it was about, the death of the Yellow Ranger. As I mentioned in my review of the trailer for the special, I believed that the actors and the directors and everyone who was working on this project would be respectful to the actress, and I personally trusted them with that, and I thought that they did a wonderful job. They did a fantastic job with it in handling it and giving us that tribute that I think the actress needed. And we got to talk about the new Yellow Ranger, Min. I think the actress's name is Charlie. I don't remember her last name, but she did great. She did great, and I don't know if she realizes how big of a role she is playing for the Power Rangers community, or like I don't know if she realizes like the shoes that she had to fill, because those are some pretty big shoes to fill. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like the original Yellow Ranger, you got a lot of people paying attention to you, and wow, but she did great. She did a great job. She's not a bad actress either. She's not a bad actress. She's a great martial artist. She did a lot of her own fights in this special, and yeah, she did she did great. She did really really well. So props to her. And just the acting she did with, oh man, yo, this special hit the ground running. Okay, so the first few scenes of the special, like literally from the beginning to like after the confrontation between Billy and Min, I was just go check out my reaction. I was just like my heart, and it just oh man, like the jeez, just thinking about it, like it definitely just went, and it got me really really emotional. Like it wasn't even halfway through the special and I was already emotional, and a lot of it was just, well, of course, just knowing the background and everything, the behind the scenes stuff, but also with Charlie's acting during that confrontation with Billy, and with Billy, and that back and forth and what she was saying to him. I'm like, dang, this is real. Like, this is real stuff. This is Power Rangers. Like, I know it's Power Rangers, but this is Power Rangers. This special gave me that feeling. Like, yeah, this is Power Rangers, and what? This is Power Rangers? Like, they said kill, they said die. I'm like, okay, this is pretty, wow, okay. Those are some words that, you usually don't say in Power Rangers. What is this? And then, of course, you got all the returning cast. Of course, you can't get the original six for obvious reasons. Also, rest in peace to JDF. Amy Jo Johnson, she decided not to return. And then Austin St. John, if you know, you know. I've seen a lot, not a lot, but some complaints about how the special just didn't get the original actors that they could have gotten back, and I've also seen some people going as far as saying, well, if they couldn't get the whole cast together, why even bother with a 30th anniversary special? Which is selfish. Don't say that. Don't be that person. Come on. Just the fact that they were able to get the people that they got back, I thought that was fantastic. Like, you got Walter Jones, who hasn't been seen in Power Rangers since he left back in the original season, or season 1, season 2, one of those season 2, right? Yeah, season 2. And Billy, who hasn't been back since Zeo, that's insane. I keep calling him Billy. David Yost, yeah, actor. You guys know what I'm talking about. But it's fantastic. That was great to see them again in action. And then of course you got Catherine Sutherland and Rocky, Steve Cardenas, that's his name. Of course, Johnny Young Bosch and Karen Ashley, they weren't able to fight or anything. That would have been nice to see them fight. I thought that would have been nice, but whatever. That's okay. At least they were there. It was just really interesting because promotional wise too, Billy was in the front of everything. It was always Billy and Zach who was at the front of everything. And I thought that was really interesting, and I mean, it makes sense because they are the only two that are part of the actual original six. But it was just really interesting during the special how much of a leading role that they took. But that was fantastic. Like how it was all planned out. The writers really thought about these things, and I really really appreciate that. Some returning cast that I would have loved to see is Bulk and Skull. Of course, I would have loved to seen Bulk and Skull. I don't know what happened. I don't know if they just couldn't get them back or they weren't even really planning on getting them back. But I don't know. I don't know because like it's a Mighty Morphin reunion. You gotta have Bulk and Skull. But whatever. It wasn't like a deal breaker or anything for me. It would have been nice. But what we got in the special from Bulk and Skull was amazing. Like we had it was a very quick shot of a billboard of Bulk and Skull, and it looks like that they started their own sandwich business, which is great. So good to see that they are back together and doing a business together. So we got Billy, who has his own company, Cranston Technologies, that also built. I guess they built the new command center, which is looks really cool. I really like the inside of it. One thing to note, and I didn't realize this until I watched. It's Catherine Sutherland and Nakia Burrise. They have a YouTube channel called Power Playback, I believe is what it's called, or Power Rangers Playback. I don't remember exactly, but I watched their kind of interview slash review of the special of Once and Always, and Catherine was mentioning that there was no viewing globe in the command center, and I'm like, oh yeah, there wasn't. I didn't even realize it. I don't know. Someone mentioned about something. No, there was a reason why there wasn't a viewing globe. Oh, I think Simon Bennett said that it was in like early drafts, but then it didn't make it into the final draft for some reason. I don't remember exactly, but yeah, I didn't even realize that until I watched their review of it. But whatever. Again, not that big of a deal to me. Maybe they just wanted an upgrade. They wanted to upgrade to just a regular screen. I don't know. And you can also see Zordon's tube there. I guess because I was during the trailer, I was under the impression that Zordon's tube was like that was the same tube as the one from Countdown to Destruction, because you got that crack in there, but I guess they rebuilt Zordon's tube because in Countdown to Destruction that thing shattered. I'm pretty sure, so I guess they rebuilt it. Which makes sense because the whole thing with Billy's trying to revive Zordon, and that's the reason why, or how Rita Repulsa was able to come back, which it was. That was insane. That was insane. I watched that scene again today, and oh my gosh, just like it was like honestly, it was borderline creepy too. Like with how Alpha's voice was. When Rita was in the process of possessing Alpha, it's like yeah, no, like that filter they used made it pretty creepy. I'm not gonna lie, but that was just wild. I was like, wait, like the first time I watched it, I was like, hold on, that's how they're doing this. That's how they're bringing Rita back. They're turning Alpha into Rita Repulsa. I would have never thought of doing that. That is amazing. That's superb. I love it. The explanation of how that was the case was also kind of like it kind of got me thinking like, is Rita Repulsa like two almost like there's two sides of her and they kind of just split? Because like Rita Repulsa is Mystic Mother, right? As as far as we know, she became Mystic Mother. And you can assume that now she is continuing as Mystic Mother for Power Rangers Mystic Force. And then you have this Robo Rita, you have the remnants of Rita from the Z-Wave going into Alpha, turning into Robo Rita. So it's like there's two Ritas existing at the same time. And it's almost like they're, it's kind of like almost like a yin-yang situation, kind of like there's good and evil, but they also can't exist without each other in a sense. Like where there's evil, there's always good, kind of a thing. That's kind of how I interpreted it. I'm going all over the place. I apologize, but there's a lot to talk about, but I also don't want to like give a whole lot away because I just want you guys to watch it if you haven't watched it already. And if you have watched it already, go watch it again. Go watch it 10 billion times. Because that thing was trending on Netflix for like a while. Like it was like top 3, top 4 on Netflix, which is fantastic. Please give us more of this. Please give us more. I want like Zeo. I want in space. I want Lost Galaxy. Give me Lost Galaxy, you know what I'm saying? I really like especially how Alpha can contact every single Ranger team. It reminded me of in the comic series Shattered Grid, where Zordon was able to contact all these Ranger teams. Like that's what it reminded me of, and I thought that was really cool. So like, it was really cool to see that, all these, all these teams, that they acknowledged all these teams, and of course we knew that they were gonna acknowledge these teams in a way because we saw it before, behind the scenes shots of all the Lightning collection figures on Rita's the machine thing where she was trying to like make a time portal to talk to her former self or whatever. But yeah, that was great. That was cool. I wish, and I said this in the reaction, I really wish that we saw other Ranger teams fight. That would have been so cool to see other Ranger teams fight in this special. Just a really quick shot. I don't need anything big, but like it would have been nice to see some quick shots of some teams like fighting in other places of the world, because they say that they are, but we just don't see it. But at the same time, I get it. It's a Mighty Morphin anniversary special. They wanted to keep it Mighty Morphin only. I totally get it. That's fine. It's not that big of a deal for me. That's more of a nitpick, honestly. All of the very tiny gripes. I can't even call them gripes because I love the special. But like the little tiny complaints that I have are so minuscule. Like they're so like practically non-existent that I listen. This special was so good. It was so good. The fight scenes were good. They were punching and kicking in the freaking face. They were stabbing people. Billy straight up stabbed Rita. Rocky straight up stabbed the Minotaur. That was insane. I was like, what? And you just get shots of them punching and kicking Putty's faces. Dang, dude. That was crazy. I was like, what? What is happening? I gotta go back to Alpha. I'm sorry. I'm jumping all over the place. But I gotta go back to Alpha because honestly, best character. Best character. Alpha was hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. Alpha had some great one-liners. I wrote them down here. Like, my poor predecessor. Or my sensors are detecting a vibe. Fantastic. Those were fantastic. And all the returning cast really just went back into their role, like especially Billy and Zach. Their performances in this special were fantastic. A lot of people are talking about the CGI, especially with the Zords and the Megazord in particular, that last Megazord fight. And listen, honestly, I've never been one to be a stickler about CGI. That's just me, though. Maybe that's just me. I don't know. A lot of people complain about CGI. They just really want that really good CGI. I don't really care. Is that weird that I don't care? Because, like, all of it was just so good. Like, even the Megazord sequence, like, the Zords, like, it was shot by shot. The Megazord sequence, you got the Tyrannosaurus Rex coming out of the volcano or underground or whatever. The Pterodactyl coming out of the volcano. You got all of the Zords coming out of like just like in the original, but they reshot it and it was beautifully done. And you got it forming, all the Zords forming the tank mode, and then you get the back shot of the helmets with Billy and Min, and in the cockpit, and the cockpit looks real cool. And there's just so much good stuff that the bad CGI for the Megazord fight just did not take away from that. It didn't take away from the whole special either. So I don't know, maybe that's just me. And there's a bunch of other good CGI in this special too. You got like the putties exploding on the ground, similarly to the Power Rangers movie, the 2017 movie. And then you also got like the morphing, like the instamorphs especially, like those are good. Those are really good. But yeah, like I said, I cried like the first 20 minutes of this special, and then I cried again when Min morphed into the Yellow Ranger. Like that whole thing where like she got shot by, or she got blasted by, Robo Rita, and then she saw the flashbacks of Trini, and then her morphing into the Yellow Ranger. Like that whole thing. Gosh, man, oh man, dude. And then at the very, very end, right before the theme song plays, which by the way was really cool. The theme song. Let me talk about the theme song first. Actually, the theme song was dope. The music in this was really cool. Yeah, you got like a bunch of like rock, that classic, Mighty Morphin rock music, with like some modern day beats. And you still also got some like orchestra stuff too, especially like at the beginning when Trini died, and you got like this drone shot of the team like kind of looking out on the cliff, and you got that orchestra going on in the background. Oh my gosh, dude, that was so. And then just all the music too, like with the hip hop keto when that came on, that. I'm sorry, I'm going all over the place, but that fight scene, the juice bar fight scene, was dope. That was one of my favorite fights in probably one of my favorite fights, because there were definitely other fights that I liked, but one of my favorite fights for sure was that Zack and Rocky fight in the juice bar. That was dope. But that fight where when they morph the last time, with Min fighting as a Yellow Ranger. Oh my gosh, that was so good. And then what was I talking about before? Yeah, the the last scene right before the theme song, where they took that old clip of Kimberly singing her song, and you got the 6 original cast members, and you got the tribute of Twee Trang and Jason Dave Frank with the words "Once a Ranger, always a Ranger" at the end. That was, yeah, that was good. As a longtime Power Rangers fan, I really, really appreciate this special a lot. It's quite literally one of the best pieces of Power Rangers media ever. Yeah, I said it. One of the best. If not, the best. Yeah, it was just on a different level from everything else we've gotten in the past 30 years. For real, like if you worked on this special, if you are watching this and you worked on this special, thank you. Seriously, thank you for this. I enjoyed this immensely. I saw something on Twitter where someone asked, I can't remember who, but someone asked, how would you rank all of the anniversary specials of Power Rangers? So like the 10th anniversary, right? You got Forever Red and Once a Ranger and Dimensions in Danger, Legendary Battle, and this special. And honestly, for me personally, I don't know if I would put Forever Red as number 1 or this special as number 1. I keep going back and forth on it because like this special was that good. This was 1000% a love letter to the fans, fans of Mighty Morphin who grew up with the show and maybe they stopped watching, or people who just kept watching, the last 30 years. Yeah, it was a love letter to us. It definitely felt like a love letter to me, for sure. Yeah, 10 out of 10. I don't care. Even the little things, the little things that they could have done. Yeah, they could have done it. I could I could review this from the perspective of, oh, that they should have done this, or like review it for what it didn't have. But I'd rather review it for what it did have. And what it did have was really, 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 really good. Really good. So, yeah, 10 out of 10. This special, 10 out of 10. That is my official rating. I want more of this. I want to see more things like this. Absolutely. I would eat it up. I literally got Netflix and a VPN because I live in Japan just to watch this dang special. Like I was so hyped for this, and oh man, it definitely it lived up to the hype. It really did, and I want more of it. I want to see like an Avengers style thing where like maybe Min leads a new team of Rangers. You know, maybe all of the Mighty Morphin Rangers retire or something, and she leads a new team. You know, maybe there's a new, red Mighty Morphin, new blue Mighty Morphin, Maybe it's time to give a new generation of heroes a chance to don those same suits, Because, Hasbro, they're going to want to hold on to those Mighty Morphin suits, Like, whoever holds the Power Rangers brand is going to want to hold on to those Mighty Morphin suits because those are the most iconic and those are the most not powerful, but the most prominent, the most popular. So that would be really cool. I want to see more of Min. I want to see more of like I said, a new team of heroes. Maybe even JJ. Tommy's and Kat's son. That would be really cool. I think it'd be really cool if there was like a series where we saw adventures of the Mighty Morphin team or like even like other teams like in space or cast from other teams. Their adventures from the last 30 years because obviously they've been in contact with each other and obviously they've been fighting like these bad guys. I want to see that. I want to see that happen. They mentioned these things, but I want to see it happen, From like Dimensions in Danger, they mentioned like, oh, Draven. Like they knew who Draven was. I want to see like how do they know Draven? Like I want to see that. I want to see Zach becoming a congressman. I want to see Billy building his tech company. And I want to see like, what other bad guys they've fought and all the adventures that Billy has had in space and everything. He's obviously been to Miranoi because he mentions Miranoi in this special. So it's like, I want to know what has happened in the last 30 years. So I think that would be really, really cool. Netflix, come on, man. It was trending number three on Netflix. You want to give us more Power Ranger stuff like this, please. I want it. A lot of other people want it too. Oh my gosh. Please, 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 please. There's so much more that I can talk about. I could go on for days. I have my notes here. I didn't even hit every point because there's just too much. But I'm just going to let you watch it, enjoy it. Maybe I'll do a live stream talking about it. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, Power Rangers once and always. Yeah. As I mentioned on my personal Twitter, I cried once and I cried always with this special. One last thank you to everyone who worked on the show, all the actors who decided to come back for this. All the writers doing a fantastic job of the story, directors, producers, everyone, all the staff, everyone. Thank you so much. And again, Netflix, please give us more of this. I and a lot of other people would really, really, really appreciate it. Thank you all so much, and please make sure you subscribe to the channel. Follow us on our social media outlets below. We also have a Discord. So flex your toys, collectibles. Let's talk about once and always. Let's just do it. And may the power protect you. Always.